the HarenLaughlen HELPS Program. And that's what I do, is I go in and I work with these churches. It doesn't cost anything for me to come in and go around and perform a facility survey. I help you put together your external response team. Your external response team is your team of service providers. One of the items when we're putting a plan together is when you have a disaster, and I know this from firsthand experience, when you have a disaster, you have every emergency restoration contractor within a 50 to 100 mile radius in your community, and they all want to help. Now, some of these companies are really good. They're really good, and they truly are there because they want to help. Some of these companies have not been in business very long. They really don't have any experience in drying out a large building. They might do a lot of homes, but there's a big difference in drying out a home and drying out a building. It's like what Sue was saying about the certificate of insurance. I tell everyone, if you've got somebody coming in to do emergency restoration work of any kind to your facility, ask them at the very beginning for a certificate of insurance. If they can't provide you a certificate of insurance, do not hire that company. Find a company that has it, because if they don't have it, you're going to have problems. So this is the HarenLaughlen HELPS Program, and HELP stands for HarenLaughlin Emergency Loss Priority Service. It's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week emergency response every day of the year. We don't take any time off. If something happens, if there's a disaster, we're there. Once a disaster takes place, we have an estimator on site assessing the damage within the prearranged time. And the prearranged time is what we figure out how long it's going to take to load our trucks, get in the truck as soon as the call comes in, and be there. Being on the HELPS program, you have a priority response over companies that are not on the HELPS program. So if the community has been affected because a tornado has made a big strip right down Main Street, and there's a lot of other businesses that are needing help, you're a priority response, which means we're going to make sure you're taken care of before anyone else. That's our priority. We assure you that there's a plan in place to keep your business downtime minimal, and that's what I do. I come in and I want to see everything about your building. I want to know what the exterior is, what it was built out of, what your roof is. I want to know what type of walls you have, what your flooring is. I can tell you this is marmoleum, which is so cool, and I love it, and I tell everybody about it. But it's a new type of flooring, and I really like that. But I want to know that. I want to know what type of lighting you have. I want to know where your electrical shutoffs are, your water shutoffs, your sprinkler system. I want to know if you have a security system within your facility. I want to know what year your building was built, because I want to know if it was built in a certain time area where we need to look at, is there asbestos? One of the churches that I've done a facility survey for, their sanctuary is the old tin ceiling. And then it's been painted. That's lead paint. We need to know that. Because if anything happens to that sanctuary, we've got to make sure that we let the service providers that's coming in to take care of that know this was built in this year, this is lead paint up here, so that they can take their precautions. And we have a dedicated, experienced contractor that truly stays on the project. It doesn't change where you're having 2 or 3 different contractors that you work with. You work with one, and that's who you work with through the entire program. And the reason for that is you've already suffered a disaster. You've already got a million things going on. You don't need all that you're already dealing with and having to deal with getting to know this contractor, and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, we're going to send in a new one. It's going to be the same contractor at all times. So investing in a disaster recovery plan helps mitigate disaster effects quickly and efficiently, because we know your structure, we know what we're working with, we've helped put your emergency external response team together. And what I was going back to that, where I got off on a tangent there, but on your external response team, what we're wanting to do is make it to where the contractors that are coming in to take care of the facility. Emergency mitigation services are service providers that you already use. Your electrician, your plumber, your HVAC person, maybe your roof, especially if you have a warranty on your roof. We truly want to use that contractor because we don't want to mess up that warranty. If you don't have a service provider for a particular area, that's fine. Then we know you don't have that person. If you don't have them, we're going to use a company that we're familiar with. Because the people that we have coming in and working on your building, we want to know either you know them or we know them. We're not using just strangers that no one knows. It's always someone we know. Investing also helps save lives, helps reduce property damage, helps minimize disruption of business operations, and it will give you the confidence that you can recover in the event of a disaster. This is my favorite saying, and I truly believe in this. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. It doesn't take that long to put together a disaster response plan. I told Sue when we were working on the presentation, think of it as the little engine that could. Do y'all remember the story of the little engine that could? And man, he looked at that steep hill and he thought, there is no way I can make it up that hill. But he just took it a little track at a time, a little track, until eventually he was at the top of that hill and it was smooth sailing going down. Well, look at it that way for your disaster response planning. Take it a little segment. Start with your structure facility. Start with your HELPS program. Get a plan in place to take care of your structure. I've had a blast working with these churches because I'll go in and we do the facility survey and I'll say, okay, we've got this done. Now, your stained glass windows, do you have pictures of those stained glass windows? Well, no. Well, if they're damaged, it's going to be real hard to try to explain to someone exactly what the picture was and the colors that were used for that stained glass window. It's a good idea to take a picture. Or, do you have an inventory list of all your sound equipment, your TVs, your VCRs, your projectors, your antiques, any valuables? Is there an inventory of that? Yes. If nothing else, take a video camera. Have someone take a video camera and go into each room and scan the entire room with the camera. I still recommend an inventory list, a true paper inventory list, but if you can't do that, if nothing else, it doesn't take that long to go around with a video camera and tape your rooms, but have something that shows the inventory. It's really hard to try to go off of memory of exactly what you had. Even when I go in and do the HELPS program, when I put a HELPS program together, I bring it back to you. You have a copy of it, and I keep a copy of it. So. Huh?
And I have it.
And Sue gets a copy. But when I bring it back, I have it in a binder, and it's all divided into different sections. Your response teams, your internal team, your external team, your insurance. I always put your insurance information in there on the coverage of your building. Your facility survey is in there. But whenever I bring you your binder, I always do two things. One, I ask you who can I email this to so you also have it on the computer. And two, I highly suggest you take every paper out of this book, make a copy of it, at least one, maybe two. Take one or two copies of it and give it to people to keep off-site. Because it never fails. Where you put this, in the church office or wherever, that's probably one of the areas that'd be affected, and then what good's it going to do you? I'll still have mine, but if something happens to your facility, even when you call me, you're going to want to get this off because you've got all your information right here that you need. I also put photographs of the church inside and out in your binder.